My father's pregnancy. Long ago, in a small village at the edge of the dense Saju forest, there lived a boy named Daimei. His father, Baba Kofi, was known for his strength and wisdom, the kind of man whose laughter could make the birds pause and whose anger could send even the river itself trembling. One year, a strange drought struck the village. Crops withered, animals grew thin, and even the wise women's prayers seemed to fade into the cracked earth. The great roundness of his belly, hearing faint whispers and the rustle of unseen wings inside. But soon, the village noticed strange things. Where Baba Kofi walked, green shoots sprang from the earth. Where he laughed, wells filled with sweet, clean water. Yeah, his skin grew pale, and his breath grew shallow. The child within him, if it was a child, was no ordinary being. On the night of the birth, the sky tore open with a roar of thunder. The villagers gathered earth, the rivers, the sky. But Baba Kofi, ever brave, ever strong, declared that he would carry this burden himself. Days turned into weeks, and Baba Kofi's belly began to swell, round and heavy like a calabash filled with water. Some laughed behind closed doors, others wept in fear. The women of the village taught Baba Kofi the secret songs of motherhood, and the medicine men brewed potions to ease his growing pains. At night, Daimei would sit by his father's side, pressing his ear against, then insulted. Every night, the elders gathered around the giant Iroko tree, offering sacrifices, but nothing changed. Then one night, as the moon grew swollen and red in the sky, Baba Kofi returned from the forest with a strange look in his eyes. He called the village together and, with a heavy voice, announced, "The gods have spoken. To restore life to the land, a man must bear a child." The villagers gasped. Such a thing had never been heard of. It was against the order of the Baba Kofi, writhing and groaning, lay on a bed of banana leaves. Suddenly, with a scream that split the heavens, he gave birth not to a human child, but to a golden seed, pulsing with light. The seed cracked open, and from it sprang a tree taller than any man, with fruits shaped like drums, calabashes, and spears. Its roots spread swiftly, drinking deep into the dry earth, and wherever they reached, life returned. The drought ended, but Baba Kofi did not survive the birth. His spirit rose into the branches of the new tree, his laughter now the rustle of leaves, his wisdom the low hum in the roots. Daimei grew under the shade of that tree, and it was said that on quiet nights, if you placed your hand on its bark, you could still feel the heartbeat of Baba Kofi, the man who bore life itself. And so, the village prospered, forever telling the tale of the man who became a mother, and the golden seed that saved them all. They called the tree Oba, the king of the earth, and the story was passed down, always beginning with wonder. Have you heard the tale of my father's pregnancy? But one night, a different kind of whisper came from the tree. Daimei, now a young man, had grown restless. Though he was honored as the son of the sea, he felt an emptiness inside him, a hollow longing that the lush fields and endless praise could not fill. He began to hear his father's voice at night, but it no longer sang. It wept. Daimei, the tree is not a blessing alone, it carries a curse. Haunted, Daimei went to the village elders. They dismissed him with tired smiles. The tree gave us life. What curse could there be? But the oldest among them, a frail woman named Mama Ajeni, pulled Daimei aside. Her voice trembled as she spoke. Baba Kofi was tricked. The spirit he met in the forest was no god, it was an ancient hunger, a being older than time. The seed gave us life, yes, but it demanded something in return. What did it demand? Daimei whispered. Mama Ajeni's eyes grew misty. Every 100 seasons, a sacrifice. The firstborn of the son of the seed must be given back to Oba, or the roots will wither, and the village will fall into endless night. Daimei staggered back. He had no wife yet, no child, but the blood of the seed was his. It meant that his lineage, his future, would be the payment. And time, the old woman warned, was moving faster than he realized. Part 3, the firstborn's cry. The next rains came heavy and red, like the bleeding of the sky. Strange things stirred near the roots of Oba, worms the size of serpents, and birds with too many wings. The villagers whispered, but none dared challenge the tree. One evening, Daimei met a girl named Amok by the river. She was fierce and clever, and before long, they married under the golden leaves of Oba. Amok became pregnant, and as her belly grew, so too did the Enis in the village. Cows began to birth calves with 2 heads. The wells sometimes ran with black water. Children said they saw a man made of branches lurking at the edge of the fields. Finally, on a night thick with smoke and dreams, Amok gave birth. But the child, their son, was born silent, eyes white and glowing faintly with golden light. He did not cry. He did not breathe like other babies. Instead, he turned his tiny head toward the great tree and smiled. The roots of Oba-A shuddered, and a voice, loud enough to split the stones, echoed through the village. The blood must return. My father's pregnancy, Part 4. The return to the roots. Damei clutched his newborn son as the voice faded into the air. The village was silent, all eyes fixed on the glowing child, whose golden gaze felt older than the stars. The elders gathered in fear and confusion. Some called for rituals. Others whispered of burning the tree. But Mama Jenny, eyes wide with dread, only said, "The dead has awakened. If the child is not given willingly, the roots will take all." Part 5. The heart beneath the roots. Lightning split the sky as Daimei stood before Oba-A. Its bark pulsed like living flesh, and the air around it vibrated with thousands of unseen voices. He raised the machete and swung once, twice, 3 times, and with each cut, the tree screamed. Real screams. Blood, dark and thick, spilled from the wounds. From the roots burst a figure, a man of twisted wood, hollow eye, wearing Baba Kofa's face. And as he aged, strange things happened. Insects would freeze in midair when he passed. Shadows would turn and follow him. By his 5th year, he began to speak to the tree in dreams. "Baba," he told Damei one morning, "the tree says I do not belong to you. I am the seed's echo. I must return." Damei fell to his knees. But that night, he made a choice, a terrible one. He went to the tree with a machete. The next day, sickness began to creep across the Jew. The once healing fruits of Oba-A now caused madness. Villagers clawed at their own faces, hearing drums that no one else could hear. Livestock fled into the forest and did not return. The river turned still, thick and oily, refusing to flow. Daimei and Amok fled to the hills, taking their child with them. They named him Ifaluo, meaning the will of the gods. But Ifaluo was no ordinary boy. He never cried, never slept, and "Why would you kill your own father, my son?" the figure asked, voice echoing like wind in a cave. "I gave life to this land. I gave you power." Daimei dropped the blade, trembling. "You gave me a curse. You turned my son into a promise I never made." The tree man moved closer. "Then let the curse end in you." Roots sprang from the earth and dragged Daimei down. He screamed as they pierced his skin, coiling into his veins, feeding on his breath. The ground shook and then went still. Morning came. Oba-A stood silent, its wounds healed. And at its base, sleeping peacefully, was Ifaluo, untouched human. The village awoke to calm. The air was clean. The fruits grew sweet again. But Daimei was gone. Some say he became the tree's new heart. Others say he took his father's place, becoming the new guardian of the ancient seed, the one who bore life and bore its price. And when children gather around the Iroko tree today, they are told one final whisper: "Do not make promises in the forest, unless you're ready to carry what follows." Would you like an epilogue next? Or maybe a sequel story called The Son of the Sea, that explores Ifaluo's path later in life?